Good morning. My name is Robert A. Davis. It is April 16th, and I just want to touch base on the small business stimulus and particularly the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP. If you've been watching the news, they're talking about how this funding is running out or will run out today and how they need to get more funding. And with great dramatics and politics, they are going to struggle with this and hopefully get more funds released to us. And that's $349 million that's been reserved right now or been loaned out or approved to be loaned out with the processes. And with all the glitches that's happened, I know I was in a queue waiting for Wells Fargo, and I just got my email yesterday that I'm approved to apply. And now they're saying the money's been already spent, which tells me that these big banks, these SBA lenders that got their allocated amounts went directly to their big clients and says, here, this is what we got for you. And the crumbs were supposed to fall down to smaller businesses. And now we're waiting for more bread for crumbs, I guess. But I saw somewhere that $250,000 has been the average PPP loan up to now, which means these are companies that have $100,000 per month payroll. Pretty big companies. So, the definition of small companies, I would have liked to seen it get down to a smaller amount of employees per month than what they had. But here we are. And so I do believe more funding's coming. And what I'd like to do is just give anybody out there who's like, hey, is this something that I can do? Just the basics of it. So if you want to put yourself in position to apply, you can. I think that there's going to be a lot more online portals that you're going to be able to get into whatever banks. I know that there's companies like QuickBooks and Square who have capital parts of their business now who are going to be accepting applications. And so I think they're all waiting for this next bill to be approved that's going to open up more funding. But the whole idea is to be prepared, to be ready, and really how you do that all depends on what kind of company you have. And so really I'm going to just talk about three different kind of formations of a company, one being the S corporation, one being a partnership, and one being a sole proprietor. And if you break those down, really it's how, do you have employees or not? If you do not have employees, you still can apply for this because you're considered the employee of your own business. But it's what do you need to be prepared and what you need to have to apply depends on what kind of company formation you have. So if you have employees, what you want to do is you're going to want to get your last 4 quarters and 941s. What that's going to do, that's going to give you your total payroll and your payroll taxes, which are two huge parts of this. If you don't have employees, then you're going to want to get your 12-month, probably 2019 profit and loss. What that's going to do is give you your net income. Okay. Now with both of these, with your payroll, there's more that you can just add to that besides just the payroll and the payroll taxes. You can add in your health benefits, health insurance, and retirement benefits, which I think is just kind of sketchy, but we won't get into that. But so you take this and you take your payroll costs and your benefits, if you have benefits, and you multiply it. Of course, you get the 12-month average, and you multiply it by 2.5 times, and that is going to be your loan amount. Then, if you're sole proprietor and don't have employees or whatnot, then what it's going to be is your profit and loss net income. Divide that by 12, multiply that by 2.5 times. That is going to be your loan amount. Now, what's really cool about the PPP is that 75% of it can be forgiven. And what you got to do is, of course, there's going to be checks and balances through this. It's a 2-year loan at 1%. And at the end of it, it's 75% of it can be forgiven if it is used for payroll, mortgage interest, rent, and utilities. If you use it for those expenses, then you get 75% of this loan is going to be written off. So it's a pretty good deal. At 1%, it's practically free money. Now, what forms do you need to get prepared for it? well, first thing I do, and I'll put a link in for this, but this is the application from the Treasury Department. And basically, this is where you're going to put your general information. You're going to put your average monthly payroll expenses. And of course, you're going to work it out by 2.5 times and all that. And that's going to be your loan amount. They ask for the number of employees. If you have applied for the EIDL, they ask if you have been approved for that. But I don't imagine anyone's been approved for that I've been following. So I know I haven't been. So just go ahead and put in the average monthly payroll 2.5 times, number of employees, and then you have some attestations to do here saying who you are and what you're going to use the funds for. It's a pretty basic application. Now, what you're going to need with that to submit is all depends on what kind of formation of company you have. You can either have the 941s, or you can do like the payroll summary for 12 months. And then, of course, for S Corp, you're going to have the 1120S, your last year's tax return. The one that you have, if it's not 2019, you're going to have 2018. If your partnership is going to be 1065, and of course, if you're a sole proprietor, it's going to be your individual tax return with a Schedule C. That is pretty much going to be your package. That's what you're going to put together. You're going to submit to somebody. And what I've seen, I've been involved in 2 of these, one with Wells Fargo, one with Bank of America. This is pretty much exactly what they're going to have you fill out, is the same application that the treasuries have on their site, what the SBA.gov has on their site to fill out by hand. So if you go through this and work this out, do this by hand, you're going to be ahead of the game. And then what you're going to do is just you're going to upload the documents that you have, the tax return, the proof of payroll, the profit and loss. You're going to upload those and submit that. How long is it going to take? Nobody knows. A couple weeks, I imagine, before you hear back. And of course, keep in mind this is all depends on when they're going to open up more funding. But it's my opinion that if you get this prepared now, you're going to be ahead of the game. Good luck to you.